Welcome to the class. Today's class is called The New Beginnings, and this class is really designed for all of you that have maybe never done yoga before or have never really done LYT yoga or pretty new to yoga. The class won't be really fast-paced. We won't go over too many poses. I'll try to keep it very basic, and assuming that you don't have a big range of motion and a lot of mobility in your hips and your shoulders. And so we're not going to be doing, for example, step throughs from down dog, things like that. So really, I wanted to design a class that's accessible to everybody. As long as you don't have any big physical issues with your body, any large limitations, you should be able to do this class. So I will be using blocks, and it would be good if you had 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, you might be able to use a very thick book, something that's sturdy. We will be placing this under our low back at the beginning, so something that could support you in that position that you can place by. And then as we start moving a bit more, if you don't have blocks, you can use water bottles or something like that. That will work. So let's get started. Every LYT class starts with a reset. Reset is a set sequence of poses or movements that we do to warm up the body and prepare for the bigger movements that will happen later in the class. So the first pose that we go into during the reset is bridge. So grab a block or that sturdy book that I just mentioned and come down onto your back. Then place the feet on the floor. Feet are about hip width apart and the toes are facing straight forward. And then tilt the pelvis so that that flat fused bone that we have that's right above the tailbone, called sacrum, is on the floor. So if you move the pelvis a bit forward and back, you will notice that neither end, top or the bottom of sacrum, is lifting off. It's firmly on the ground. So that's neutral pelvis. And then start tightening those deep abdominal muscles. So muscles in between the two pelvic bones. Those muscles will start gathering towards the middle of the body and then pulling slightly down again towards the sacrum. And then roll the shoulder blades under your back and lengthen the back of the neck. So now we'll align the body. This is called triple S. We'll lightly push into the feet and use the glutes to help you lift the hips up. So still lengthening the tailbone towards the feet as you lift up into a low bridge. Once you get there, you'll slide the block under the sacrum. So either the lowest height of the block, or you can go to the medium. But for today, maybe just stay with the lowest. But the block is placed so that your glutes are still off the block. They're not on a block. So the block is under the sacrum, not under your glutes. And we still want to maintain a little bit of engagement in the glutes. Even though we are resting our pelvis on the block, we don't want to just fully relax in it. We want to keep some energy in our glutes, so keep them engaged and keep those low abdominal muscles tightened. From here, extend the right arm up towards the ceiling. Flip the palm up as if you're holding a tray. The fingers are behind you. And then take the left hand and pull down with your left hand on the right fingers. And make sure to include the thumb as well. So we're adding a wrist stretch. Really good to do every day, especially if you have a desk job where you are on a computer all day long or writing a lot. Whenever we're doing that, we're in a wrist flexion, and this is a counter stretch for that. And in LYT classes, we tend to do a lot of weight bearing through the hands, so this is just to prepare our wrists for that. And again, make sure that you haven't relaxed your glutes. One more breath here. And release. And we'll switch sides. So flip the left palm up and then take the right hand and pull down on your left fingers, including the thumb. Just deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. Release. And so why I'm asking you to hold the glutes tight is because the bridge here is really used to prepare our glutes to fire when we start moving. We tend to rely on other muscles typically where we really should be using our glutes when we're moving. So this is to wake them up. So again, push into your feet, use the glutes to lift the pelvis up, and then slide the block away. You can place it to the side and then slowly lower your back down onto the floor. Keep the feet as they are. Next thing that we did do in reset is a set of abs. Usually we might sometimes do 2 sets of abs, but today we're going to do 1. Interlace the fingers behind your neck and then pull your elbows in. Push the sacrum into the floor, so really the pelvis is still in that neutral position and your low abdominal muscles are still engaged. Inhale deeply here. Exhale, lift the head and the shoulder blades off the floor. Keep pushing the belly down and then rest your head into your hands. So try not to lead forward with your chin. You're really using your core to lift you and hold you here. And make sure that you're off your shoulder blades. Inhale and lower. And again, like this, exhale to lift. Inhale and lower. Adding on, exhale to lift. And then twist to the left just 1 inch. So you're staying off the left shoulder blade. You really just turned a little bit your torso, especially your thoracic spine, your upper back, towards the left. Come back to center, inhale and lower. Exhale to lift. And now we're going to twist to the right. Just 1 inch, staying off that right shoulder blade. Come back to center, inhale and lower. One more time like that. Exhale to lift. Twist to the left. Come back to center, inhale and lower. Exhale, lift. Twist to the right. Keep pulling the belly down. Back to center, inhale and lower. Another change, exhale to lift. Twist to the left. Now twist to the right. Come back to center, inhale and lower. And last time, exhale to lift. Twist to the right. Then through center, twist to the left. Come back to center, inhale and lower. You can bring your knees into your chest, but keep pushing the sacrum into the floor, and then maybe you rock side to side a few times. From here, we'll roll onto the right side, and then use your hands to push you up. We'll come into tabletop. So bringing the wrists under the shoulders, and knees are underneath the hips, but they're really underneath those pelvic points. So a little bit closer in towards your hands than you would think, or if you have been doing yoga before, maybe you are used to having your knees back further. So bring them in a little bit more. And we do this because it's easier to maintain that neutral pelvis in that position. And then see if you can feel your shoulder blades on top of the back ribs. So really creating a nice neutral spine here, and lift your throat up. So if your head is hanging down, lift the throat up. So again, you want to come to that same alignment that we were in when we were lying on the ground, where our skull, back of the skull, our shoulder blades and our sacrum are in one line. But now we're going to break that. So we'll go do a few rounds of cats and cows. With an inhale, open through the chest and maybe tilt the tailbone up a little bit. Try not to just dump the ribs forward. Keep them in as the crown of the head reaches up. This is a cow pose. Exhale, push the floor away from you. Puff up in between the shoulder blades and come into a cat. So the tailbone's pushing down towards the floor. And again, inhale to come through center, open across the chest, tailbone goes up as well as the crown of the head. Exhale, push the floor away and round. Let's do two more like this. Move with your own breath. So inhale for a cow. Exhale for a cat. One more round, inhale. And exhale. When you come into a cat pose, stay there just for a moment. Really release the neck. You can even move it side to side a bit. Or nod, yes. And come back through neutral. Lower the forearms onto the ground. So the next thing we typically do in reset is we go into a dolphin. And today we're just going to prepare for that. Maybe you get into a dolphin, maybe you don't. Most likely you'll need to interlace your fingers here. So if you have really open shoulders, you can try to align your wrists with your elbows and have the palms on the floor. But even I prefer still to have my hands interlaced here. And then we'll do the same thing. We do a couple of cats and cows here just to feel the difference in those two poses. So chest opens and then it rounds. Your back rounds. Again, inhale to open. Exhale to round and stay with the rounded back. Release your head so the crown of the head is reaching down towards the floor. Tuck the toes under. And now push it into the forearms and lift your knees just an inch off the ground. Place them back down. Let's do that again. With an exhale, push the forearms into the floor, lift the knees up. Maybe 2 inches. And down. One more time. With an exhale, push the forearms in, lift the knees maybe a little bit higher. 6 inches or so. And feel how your tailbone is going up towards the ceiling and down. And then keep practicing that, or if you want, you can try to come into a full dolphin. So exhale, push the forearms into the floor, lift the knees, and keep taking your tailbone up, high, high, high up towards the ceiling. Your knees can be bent. Make sure you haven't allowed the ribs to drop. Keep them pulling in towards your back. 3 more breaths here. You can relax the head. And with the next exhale, slowly lower the knees down. Come onto the hands and then lift up into a kneeling position. So another part of the reset is sun salutation 1. We're going to do just a modified version of it today here. Usually it starts from Tadasana, but today we'll start here from the kneeling position. Untuck the toes. Place the hands to your waist and then step the left foot forward. You want to create this 90-90 lunge here. Push into the ball of the right foot. Make sure your pelvis is neutral, so you want your tailbone to go straight down towards the floor, pulling your pubic bone up, and you'll feel a nice opening in the front of the right hip. And from there, bring the arms forward and up. This is low lunge. Reach the fingertips up. Feel the energy lifting your ribs up as you reach the fingertips. Good. With the next exhale, bring the hands on either side of the front foot and step the left foot back. Move the knees a little bit more to the back, so we can come into a kneeling plank. So hips will lower a bit, but we still want to maintain that alignment of back of the skull, scapula, and the sacrum. Opening the chest here. So pulling your shoulder blades towards your back ribs, but keeping your front ribs in. Tuck the toes under if they're not already. Push into the hands, and like we did for dolphin, send the hips high, high, high up, tailbones going high up, and we're in down dog. You can feel free to walk the feet in just a little bit. Relax the head here as well. So keep pushing the floor away from you with your hands, sending the hips up, keeping the ribs in. A little bit of a lift under the shoulders. And then slowly bend the knees and place them back down onto the ground. Hands come back to the waist, untuck the toes, and step the right foot forward, doing the other side. Push the top of the back foot into the ground. Find a neutral pelvis. Your core is engaged, opening the front of the left hip, and then the arms reach forward and up. Ribs are still staying in. Good. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Step the right foot back, and then walk those knees in just a few inches until you can find that straight line with your upper body. Keep the belly pulling up. Keep gluing those shoulder blades to your back ribs. And lift the throat up. Tuck the toes under, push the floor away, and lift into down dog. Hips go high up. Maybe walk the feet in a couple of inches. Knees can be bent here as well. Now let's place the knees onto the ground one more time. Keep the hands down actually, and then step the right foot as much forward as you can. Push off of the ball of the back foot and step the back foot forward. So now we're in a forward fold. Your knees are probably generously bent here. You want to feel your belly on top of the thighs. And keep sending the hips back. Trying to keep that neutral spine position even here. This is a deep hip flexion. It's actually a flexion of the ankles, knees, and the hips. Hands can be on fingertips, or maybe you can have them on the blocks on any height that you need to. So just to place the blocks in the middle of the mat. Place the hands to the waist and inhale, lift slowly all the way up. Tadasana. That's pretty much the reset, a little bit modified for today. We'll go into our sequence for today. Finding the Tadasana, so bringing the pelvis in neutral. Inhale, lift the arms forward and up. With an exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. So first bring the hands into the hip creases, into that spot where your thigh bone meets the pelvis. Put the fingers there, and then with an exhale, push the hips, push the fingers into that hip crease to send your hips back as you bend the knees and the hips. Keep going. And come onto your fingertips, or place the blocks to help you step the right foot back. And then lower the knee. Bring the blocks to the side and come up. This time we'll keep the toes tucked and start thinking of pulling your front foot back. This is going to help you engage that right glute. The hands will come on top of your shoulders, and we'll do some circles going up, back, and down with our shoulders, with our elbows. So elbow goes up, over, and back, alternating from side to side. Adding a little bit of a twist as you do that in your thoracic spine. Couple more. Good. Now place the right hand on top of the left knee, left hand on your waist. Lean forward And then transfer the weight into the left foot as you lift the right knee up. So we're in this tilted crescent lunge with the help of our hands. The weight is still more in your left foot. And we'll play with just lifting and lowering the right toes off the floor, just a couple of inches. Up and down. Playing with the balance, noticing how this feels. Without moving the pelvis, so use that right glute to move your leg. 2 more. And then keep the right foot down, lift up, move towards the side of the mat, and reach the arms up. Your feet are on a diagonal. This is 5-pointed star. Really reach the fingertips, trying to find a neutral pelvis even here. And then windmill towards the back of the mat. Pivoting the toes, grab a block on your way. Place the block under your left shoulder and your hand on the block. Now you can place the knee down, left knee down. Place the right hand on your sacrum. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, turn the chest to the right. It's a twisted crescent. And another option is to lift the left knee off the floor. Good. Maybe you try to extend the right arm up as well, but if that changes anything in your foundation, in your legs, in your pelvis, then keep the hand on the sacrum. Good. Let's lower the left knee back down onto the floor. Move the block away. Actually, I'll place them on the other side. Pivot your left foot towards off the mat, and then extend the right leg towards the back or the front of the mat, I guess here. Modified side plank. So your left wrist is right under the left shoulder, and think of energetically turning your palm over to the left to feel that shoulder blade come on top of the ribs. So it's not popping or moving. It's really trying to find those back ribs there. You can relax the neck. You can keep your right hand on the waist. Engage the left glute, so sending the hips forward. And final option is to lift the right arm up. And again, notice if you've pushed the ribs forward, bring them in. It's going to help your shoulder blade find your ribs. Good. Exhale, bring the right hand to the floor as well as the right knee. We'll come back into the tabletop just for a breath. And then the hands will come to the waist and we'll lift up. Now step the left foot forward. Place the left forearm right above the left thigh. Push into the left foot and the right toes to lift up. And then lower the right heel down for extended side angle pose. So opening the pelvis to the side of the mat. Roll the shoulder back. And you can again relax your neck and maybe extend your right arm up, maybe even over the right ear, adding a bit of a side stretch. The next inhale, use that right arm to help you come up. Keep the legs as they are. Bring the hands to the waist and then see if you can tell if your shoulders are right over the hips. You want them there. Neutral pelvis, ribs are in. Extend the arms. And then maybe you gaze past your left fingertips. This is Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2 pose. Maybe sink a little bit lower in your front knee. Widen the stance. And then place the right hand on top of the right leg. Flip the left palm up. Exhale, slide the right hand down the leg as you lift the left arm up for another side bend. Relax the neck even here towards the right shoulder, so right ear towards the right shoulder. Inhale, come back to Warrior 2. Let's do that one more time, a little bit more flowy. Exhale, forearm on top of the left thigh. Reach the right arm up or over. Inhale, come through Warrior 2. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill towards the extended side angle, but we'll bring the hands towards the long edge of the mat. Parallel the feet. And then take the blocks and place the hands on the blocks so that your wrists are right under the shoulders again. Finding that alignment of our skull, scapula, shoulder blades, and the sacrum. We'll start bending the knees one at a time. As you bend the knees, send the hips back. So imagine that your fingers are in those hip creases and they're encouraging your hips to go back. Maybe you bend the knee a lot, maybe you bend the knee a little bit. Maybe you start with little bends and then progress, going a little bit deeper. Couple more. Okay, come back to center. Walk the hands over to the front of the mat. Pivot the feet as you go. Bring the blocks with you. Place the blocks on their lowest height and hands on the blocks. And then you're going to step the right foot back for down dog. Notice how down dog feels now when you're on the blocks. You have a little bit more space. Relax the head. And then bend the knees, place them onto the floor. Move the blocks to the side, and we'll step the right foot forward. Keep the left toes tucked in. Pull the right heel back, so we're doing the other side. And reach the arms forward and up, and then onto your shoulder blades. So adding those circles with the elbows. Elbows go forward, up and back. Good. And then release the hands. Place the right hand on your waist, left hand on top of the left thigh, just above the knee. Lean forward. More weight comes into the right foot. Lift the left knee off the floor. So knee tilted crescent. Core is engaged. And we'll start lifting and lowering. This is an option. You can keep your foot down. But if you want to test the balance, and just lift and lower that left foot using the left glute. Making sure you can even tap it to make sure it's working and you're not just using your hamstring and your back muscles. 2 more. Place the left foot down, turn towards the long edge of the mat for 5-pointed start. Feet are on a diagonal, lift the arms up, reach the fingertips, finding a neutral pelvis. And as you exhale, pivot towards the back of the mat. Grab a block on your way. Place it under your right shoulder, right hand under the shoulder. Right knee comes down. Left hand on the sacrum. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. And then the option is to lift the right knee off the floor. You can release the neck. And maybe you lift the left arm up or not. You can keep it down on the sacrum. Let's lower the knee, right knee back down. Move the block away. Right hand comes back under the right shoulder. Take the blocks to the other side. And then pivot that right foot behind you so that the left leg can come and extend towards the front of the mat. Open the pelvis and the chest to the side. Relax the neck. Maybe you lift the left arm up. Modified side plank. Good. Exhale, and bring the left hand down and the left knee down, tabletop. And then the hands come to the waist and lift up into a kneeling position again. This time we're going to step the right foot forward. Lower the right forearm on just above the right knee on the right thigh. And we'll lift the left knee up and pivot the left heel to come into that extended side angle pose. So again, opening the pelvis and the chest to face the side of the room. You can relax the neck and maybe lift the arm up and over towards the fingertips. The next inhale, use that left hand to lift you up for warrior two. So first bringing the hands to the waist to see if we can align the shoulders and the hips, and then maybe extending the arms, palms face down. You can gaze past your right fingertips if your neck is okay with that. Neutral pelvis, low belly is pulling in. And relax the shoulders here. Let's turn the right palm up. Left hand will come on top of the left leg. Exhale, reach the arm up and over, sliding the left hand down the leg for reverse warrior. Relax the neck. Good. Inhale, come back to warrior two, and let's flow a little bit more. With an exhale, right forearm on top of the right thigh. Extend the left arm up and over. Inhale through warrior two. Exhale, reverse. And again, inhale through warrior two. Exhale, windmill, so that you're going to face the side of the mat. Bring the blocks, take the blocks, place them under your shoulders. Parallel the feet. And let's do those side lunges one more time. So bending one knee at a time. This time, notice if this time it feels any different than the first time. Couple more. Maintaining the long back, lifted head. Good. Come back to center and then walk your hands with the blocks over towards the front of the mat. Place the blocks on their lowest height. Hands come onto the blocks and step back into down dog. One last time. Relax the head. Keep pushing the blocks away from you, so push the hands into the blocks. Hips go high up. And then bend the knees, bring them wide. Bring the back toes together, or big toes together behind you. You can move the blocks off the mat. We won't use them anymore. And extend the arms forward for extended child's pose. You can lower the forehead down towards the floor. But again, make sure you don't just drop your ribs towards the ground. Keep them lifted a little bit. Keep a little bit of energy still with your arms in your arms. And then lift the forehead up, walk the hands towards the knees, and we'll move the hips to either side to bring the legs to the front of the mat. Slide yourself down if you're not in the middle of the mat, and come down onto your back. So to finish the class, we'll go into figure four stretch. Pick up the left foot and cross the left ankle right above the right knee, and then open that left knee to the side. Now maybe you want to stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, lift that right foot off the floor and guide the right thigh towards the belly. But just go to whatever point feels right for you today. So you're doing the active stretch. We're not using the arms to pull our leg in. Good. And lower the foot down, uncross the leg. And now we'll switch sides. So cross the right ankle above the left knee, open the right knee to the side. And then with an exhale, pull the left knee in towards the chest. That's an option. Of course, you can always keep the foot down on the floor. And gently place the left foot down, and then the right foot down. Extend your legs and come into Shavasana. Turn the palms up, lengthen the back of the neck, allow for some space under your armpits, and then relax the feet, your legs, your whole body. Just let it melt into the mat. We'll stay here for a few moments, or you can feel free to pause the video and stay here as long as you want. If you're ready, begin to wiggle your toes and fingers. And then you can start rotating your wrists and your ankles. Let's extend the arms up over the head, stretch out the whole body. Nice big morning stretch. Bend the knees, pull them into the chest, and then roll towards the right side. Use your right or your left bicep as a pillow here just for a moment. And then push into your top hand to lift up. Try to keep the eyes closed as you come into a seated position. Take a moment just to notice how your body feels. You may notice a little bit of a buzz of energy going through your body. Let's bring the hands to the heart center. We'll do 2 cleansing breaths together. So inhale through your nose. Exhale, side out. And again, inhale. Lower your chin towards the chest. Open the eyes. And raise your head. And I truly hope that you enjoyed this class. It's even fun to come back to the beginnings, to the roots, and do classes like this if you're experienced yoga practitioner, just as a reminder of some basics. Or even if you have been feeling unwell or low in energy, it's good to just move. So classes like this are good for those situations as well. And if you're a beginner, I really hope that you've learned something, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.